lab, it's time for the show. Marcus Lee Stephenson's got that flow. Conversations that matter every Tuesday night. Inspiration, laughter, love shining bright. Turn it up.
Subscribe to the Marcus Lee Stephenson Show today.
Hello, thank you again for watching the Marcus Lee Stephenson Show. Today, I am honored to have Miss Gray, Miss M. Gray, soon to be Dr. Gray, 2 more semesters. And of course, my co-host, I have Angela Carter-Clark, and we have Linda Anderson King. So today, we're going to dive in, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me get comfortable. So, we're going to talk, this conversation is going to be about stepping out on faith from being a college director to stepping out on faith. So, let's dive in. We're going to have a conversation.
Okay. I've been in higher ed for probably over 15 years. I started out in the federal sector, and in that position, you know how you get promoted to a point that you no longer meet your level expectations.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I wasn't working with the people anymore. I was working with federal court judges and so forth, and I said, I'm not making a difference anymore. So I left. Mm-hmm. And leaving, I explored a lot of different things. I did some nonprofit work. Started 2 of my own businesses. And then one day someone said, what about going into higher education? And I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I thought going into higher ed, you had already had your PhD. Mm-hmm. And so I was talking to Dr. Aminta Mickles, and she was like, come shadow me, come in my classroom. And I had a ball. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is great. And so next thing I know, that led me to the path of working in higher education. And then my niche was working with veterans. Okay. And that's how I started working in higher ed. And I just went from, I guess, a tech to a director. And then after being a director, that's when, I had this situation that occurred. And I took a faith and I walked out. Okay. And haven't looked back since.
And what are you doing now? What drives you now?
I have a passion for advocacy. I have stories that are in me. I consider myself a storyteller, mm-hmm. and so I like to tell the path in which I've taken. Like I did a talk on I'm more than just a girl, mm-hmm. and I talk about my military time. I talk about things that I did to get to where I was and things of that nature. And so I just love telling my story, but I also love telling the stories of other people. Mm-hmm. And so I always tell people, let me tell your story.
Yeah. Wow. And if I'm not remiss to say this, but I've read some of your articles and stuff, and some of the stuff that you wrote, you talk about trauma and stuff as well.
Yes.
So you feel comfortable talking about that?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yes, I am a survivor of military sexual trauma, and I wear them proudly. I have every ribbon tattooed on my neck. Mm-hmm. At first, I used to wear my hair long because I didn't want anyone to see them. Mm-hmm. And then one day, as we women do, we take the big chop.
Yes.
And doing the big chop, I actually forgot that they were on the back of my neck because I had them for so long. Mm-hmm. And then I remember one day I was standing in the store and someone said, oh, what does that ribbon stand for? Is that such and such ribbon? And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, yes.
You can see it.
Right. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. I said, yes. I said, that's breast cancer. That's domestic violence. That's this and that's that. And I had a whole conversation about these ribbons. And then I was like, well, I can't hide them anymore. Yeah. So I might as well talk about them.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So it's part of your organization dealing with domestic violence, being a survivor?
So part of my business is helping inform persons in higher ed or persons in leadership how to recognize people that have undergone trauma. Mm-hmm. And that's men as well, because we tend to forget about our male counterparts. Mm-hmm. I remember doing some research because I found out men have suffered through military sexual trauma as well as their survivor of rape and so forth. Mm-hmm. And I started talking to more men, and I started talking to my gay and lesbian community. And they told me, they said, we don't have a voice because people automatically assume because of how we identify, that's what we wanted, or that's what we deserved, or that's how we got this way. That's not how you got this way. No one deserves to be taken advantage of.
True.
I don't care what age, I don't care what gender, I don't care what you think. I don't care if I wear a sexy black dress or I wear a long black dress. You still don't have that right to take something that's not yours, that I didn't give to you willingly.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me in the military. Funny, it's not a funny story. I should say, no one knows this, but my entire face is titanium and it's purple.
Wow.
And I remember when the doctor told me, he was like, yeah, we're going to give you this titanium face. It's going to be purple. And I said, who's going to see it? But he mentioned to me, purple is royalty.
That's right.
And I was like,
he did that.
I said, okay. I said,
So, I'm sorry, but
yeah.
you have to back the,
Yeah,
back
because
the
I know
story.
it's like-
There's
it's
so
so
much
speed
to
by.
unpack in
I'm sorry,
these
sir.
first 2 or 3 minutes. What
Happened.
led to?
So usually how I lead
need
into
for
it, I
this.
always say, they said yes, I said no.
Okay.
And because of that, I always tell people I'm a scrapper. And so being in it, I'm a scrapper. So being in the military, if you're taking something from me, I'm not going down without a fight.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't go down without a fight.
Yeah.
And so in doing that, my jaw was broken in 2 places. And being in the military, because of the situation that occurred, and I was married, and I came from a very unique family dynamics where I had a parent that was of the Islam faith, and I had a member that was Catholic. How do you tell these 2 people
Right.
what happened
Yeah.
without some sort of shame?
Yes.
And so I didn't tell them at first. I was still in the military, and I remember going to formation, and because I didn't realize my jaw was broken, my mouth fell open. My first sergeant came and said, you have permission to keep your mouth shut, and made me hold my mouth like this for the next 4 or 5 days. In doing that, my jaw wound up fusing together. And so over the years, it just got progressively worse. And
But you never told your story. You never told him how it happened.
What happened?
Was
Did
there
he
any
ask?
bruising?
oh yeah. But
He just
No
never
questions.
asked, and just no compassion at all.
no, because I was a female, take off the fee, and then in the uniform, we're all the same. So, because to me, in my eyes, it would have been my fault. And because I was young, and I thought to myself, I was training with this other soldier. I thought maybe I shouldn't have had a step, because we were training to get our EMT license. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't have invited him over. Maybe I should have done something. I mean, I had all the coulda, shoulda, wouldas in my head. And so I said, I can't tell anybody because I brought this on myself.
Wow.
And I was undergoing so much other, like I said, domestic violence. I didn't even know what that was until literally I was watching a Lifetime movie. And I said, man, it was The Burning Bed.
Oh,
I will never, you remember that? And I
Yes.
remember thinking,
Farrah
I
Fawcett.
said, my God. I said, I'm not burning anybody in the bed. I said, but that's domestic violence. I
Yeah.
said, that wasn't me. Did not know it. And I thought to myself, wow, I got to tell people. It's love should not hurt. It should never hurt.
I just-
and you should. I mean, yeah. Don't. I mean, you said blame yourself. It wasn't your fault. I know at that time you was young. You didn't know. You had no guidance to say. Hey, this is not right.
Exactly.
So no one told you. So, and this is something that our younger kids can understand as they watch this. That speak up. You do have a voice, even when you think you don't have a voice. You do.
They have a voice. And I always say, find someone that you can talk to.
Always.
And for me, that was Sergeant Stacy Lewis. And he knew that something was going on. And a bunch of people knew or thought things that were going on. But you think, I can hide this.
Yeah.
If I come in my uniform,
How do you
if I
hide the bruises? I don't understand.
I
The
wind
swelling.
up being labeled a clumsy person, because I would say things like, "Oh, I fell. Oh, I remember
Ran into a
this
door.
happened or that happened." And I remember Sergeant Lewis said, "Are you really that clumsy? Because you're one of the best runners in our company." And I said, "Well, running is different. I mean, like, what comeback do you have to that?" And so I didn't have any comeback, but it took me years. And like I said, I love telling young women, love should not hurt. It should not hurt, not one bit. And if you know what love feels like, then you know it shouldn't hurt. It should be the most welcoming type of embrace that you've ever had. It should make you happy. It should make you smile. It should make you giddy, make you have butterflies.
And that's emotionally, mentally, and physically.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Now, do you do speaking engagements on this? Because this is impactful.
I've been looking to do more things about this, but sometimes when people see you, depending on the crowd, like most people say, "I want to hear about your military time," and I'm like, but that
Yeah.
I don't want to just
from.
right. That's where it started from, and I don't want to just talk about me being a woman in the military, because let's be truthful, everybody talks about that. Me being a woman in the military and breaking ceilings, or me being the fastest runner, because I tell people all the time that was my get back.
Yeah.
If you got me, I'm going to run you to the ground, because that was what I knew how to do. And I could run and I could lose myself in the run. And so that's what I did. And so during my military time, I did become the guide arm bearer, which is very important, because you lead the pace, you hold the your company flag, and it's a proud moment to have. And so I made sure that I put everything into that, the way I was feeling.
Deflected.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, this is when you and I write this book,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna write your book.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna. Yeah, your story needs to be. I mean, just out there.
Right.
I mean, because I'm a girl dad for one, so I have granddaughters.
Okay.
So, we need to let them know.
Yeah.
Anything happen, find somebody, find something to.
Absolutely.
Hey, this what happened to me. It can be a stranger. Let somebody know.
You have to.
Yes.
Because once you internalize it and you don't say anything, we get women and men, we start getting intestinal problems. Like I had intestinal problems for years and didn't understand why. And finally, I had a really great therapist who was like, it's the internalizing and not doing anything with it. I was like, is that a thing? And they were like, yeah, that's a real thing. And I'm like, wow. And once I released it, I have an aunt that's 80 some years old, and because she knew what happened, every time she calls me, she always says, "Girlie, did you go to the bathroom?"
Wow.
I was like, yes, but you don't have to keep asking me. I'm on speakerphone.
I like that. Yeah, Linda, you have anything on the psychology side of this?
I do. I'm trying to figure out how to process it all, exactly where to start. But I know that you are an advocate, not just for women, but for men too. Voice Safe Leadership System. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That is something that came out from a passion, working in higher ed and seeing the students that are up front, in your face, rah, they have no problems.
Right.
It's the students that you don't see, that you don't hear, that you walk by and they don't say hi, or they don't hold their head up. Those are the students that get lost.
Yes.
Those are the students that need a voice.
Yes.
And that's where it came from. And it started with one particular young lady. I won't say her name. I was working at a university, and I came in early one day because I come in early because I can't sleep most of the time. And it was like, I want to say 7 a.m. in the morning. And I saw her sitting downstairs on the chairs. And she was kind of laying down. I didn't say anything. So the next morning I came in again, and I said, I'm going to come in a little bit earlier. So I came in 6:50, not much earlier. And I said, hey. I said, good morning. She said, good morning. And she jumped up.
Very defensive.
Right. And I said, let me try something else. The next morning I came in 6:45.
Okay.
She was still there. Same clothes.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, hey, I work upstairs. I always have snacks and food and coffee. Why don't you come up there? And she was like, no, no, no. I said, yes, yes, yes. I said, I don't mind. And I said, I'll walk with you. You don't have to come by yourself. I waited. She didn't come. But the very next day, I saw her again. And I said, come on. What I found out was she was getting there early enough for the maintenance guy to open the bathroom for her to take a shower.
Wow.
She was homeless. She was living in her car. And from that point on, every day, I make sure, I'm like, I'm going to bring her egg. I'm going to bring her some food, you know. And I didn't know quite then that she was living in her car. And then I told her, I said, do you need a ride home? She was like, no. And I said, oh, okay. And so shortly, but you know, she started peeling the layer of onion away, the layers and stuff. And I found out, so I thought, for some reason, everyone thought she had a military background. So did I, because she was, I guess, the regiment, the boom, boom. Yeah. And so what I wound up doing is I helped her get in a program through a church, to a local church. And they found her an apartment and all that kind of stuff. She was running away from something, and I know how that feels. And she wasn't from Texas. She was from the East Coast, so we had a lot in common. So I thought, great. She was actually running away from an abusive parent and so forth. So what happened was she left. Her brother was being abused, and she actually finished school, not here in Texas. She moved back to the East Coast, got her degree. She wrote a book. Okay. She got her brother out of foster care, raising him. And she actually wrote a book, which she dedicated to me. And it made me cry because she says, I'm going to be a counselor.
Okay.
And I said, Rich, she said, because it's more people like me.
Yes.
And I want to show them how other people can help you. I had never cried so much. And I was like, you're a counselor? Yeah. She was like, yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sitting over here in tears while you're sharing that story, because I am a professor of counseling and psychology, and I see students often. I minister to them really on the backside, from behind the screen, because some of the very things that you're talking about, I can identify with. And we're going to have a doctor on the show in a few months, and we're actually going to, address some of those issues while students are living in their cars. This is reality. This is real time, and it's kind of hard to swallow that when we're sleeping in a warm bed. We don't understand what they're going through, but yet they are determined to finish school.
I don't think people know that some larger universities, my son went to Kennesaw State. He went from Kennesaw State to Temple University. They actually have homeless dorms.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And so students who go to school but can't afford to pay the dorm, can't afford to have an apartment, so they have waiting lists. And so when I found that out, I started making care packages. And it's a great thing. I wish people would do it more. But there are campuses that have homeless dorms and for their students, and send them packages. Like, funny, because I remember my son, when he first went off to college, he called me one day and he says, I don't have any toilet paper or toothpaste. I said, what are you talking about?
Surprised,
So you know what he told me? He says, I just realized at this moment that I have never purchased a roll of toilet paper in my life. And he said, I just remember going to the bathroom and it was always there. And I was like, so that triggered me. And I was like, okay. So what I did was, you buy one of those big things from Costco and you send it. And I said, share. I said, share. And he was like, then he started telling me about the other students that need it. And so I was like, oh, I'll send another one. Then I got it delivered. Amazon I didn't really think about Amazon then, but I was like, oh, now. But if I don't send anything else, I'm going to send you TP. I'm going to send TP to all those dorms, because I realize there's kids like that that don't realize that the parents,
very basic
the very basic stuff
basic
we are purchasing, and we send them out on their own assuming
they got this.
They got this. And it's the little thing. They got the clothes, they got the shoes. That part. And when he told me, I didn't realize that the toilet paper just didn't appear. Oh my
where's
days.
where's the janitor at? The
Yeah,
maintenance
right,
people,
right.
They're not bringing it.
Exactly, exactly.
So I think through this whole conversation, I keep thinking about the term emotional resilience, and what it took for you to continue to fight and battle through that. So what would you say to, I noticed your Instagram. I wanted to read some of the posts that are on your Instagram, and it's almost like you're sending out messages to people.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
There's not, it's not one in particular person that I'm directing to. I'm hoping to appeal to someone who's like, wow, I didn't think about that. Wow, I'm going through that. I am a man. Like I tell my son all the time, it's okay for you to cry. And I said, real men cry. Because if they don't cry, they're not real. How do you relate to someone who tells you, because we came from a generation, boys don't cry, girls do. And I thought to myself, how unfair is that to tell a little boy to suck it up because he just fell and hurt his knee? You know,
it's painful.
How unfair is it when you come to me and he's heartbroken? He got his heart broken. And I'm like, my God, it's okay to cry. He was like, I know you did. So we have to let our young men know that it's okay to cry. So when I send these messages on Facebook and Instagram, I'm trying to let them know that I'm thinking about them. I'm not just thinking about my women. I'm also thinking about my men. I'm also thinking about our young men and women, because those are the ones that need guidance. And I think we forget sometimes. We send them to school, but the guidance counselors aren't there anymore.
Right. Well, they don't function in the way that they used to.
Right. You remember, like, we would go to school, and if someone thought you were having some issues, they sent you to the guidance counselor, and you got to talk to them. And in that season, it was, I guess, free therapy. We didn't know it was
but
therapy.
But today it's a paycheck.
Right. And because, as we know, our black and brown families, what goes on in the family, what goes on in the house, stays in the house. And we keep it all pinned up. We were like, And I remember someone said, give it up to God. You're right, I can, but guess what? Is God really listening to, like, I can pray and pray, but I can't pray away depression. I can't pray away self-worth. Like, I can't pray away what I don't know how to describe, what's going on.
Exactly.
If someone hurt me, how do I pray to God about that? And I'm not dismissing God by any means, but I think sometimes what we teach culturally and historically is not what we should be teaching going forward. We shouldn't tell our young men not to cry. Absolutely cry. We shouldn't tell our girls, because I remember coming home one day when I was a kid, because I was a tomboy, and my mother had in her head that girls have to like this, this, and this. And I came home one day, and she painted my room pink. And I was like, my God. And it looked like Pepto-Bismol threw up in my room. And she had ballerina slippers. And I went in there, and I said, and I just cried. And I had to wait till my father got home. And he was like, what's wrong? And I said, you painted my room pink. And he was like, what's wrong? I said, I hate pink.
Oh, wow.
But as a girl, during that era, during that generation, girls supposed to like pink. And boys are supposed to like blue. We dress girls in pink. We dress boys in blue. And it was never like, I wanted a truck. My mother got me a dog. It wasn't going to change who I was. And I think that was their fear. I'm like, I'm going to be who I am, no matter if I ride a truck, if I ride a big wheel, if I'm out there with the boys catching bugs and bringing them in the house, and I got in trouble for that, but I'm still going to be me. Nothing's going to change that.
So I see your post that says, dare to be unruly.
Yes.
I love that.
I was going to bring that one out.
Dare to be unruly.
Absolutely.
Sounds like something a Gemini would say. Are you a Gemini too?
I'm an Aries.
Close enough now.
I feel like the artistic part of me is that part that wants to be unruly, because we are taught as girls, you gotta be prim, proper, cross your legs, yes ma'am, no ma'am, do this and do that, and I'm like, Well, sometimes I'm gonna have my jeans and my sneakers on. If you see me any other time, I have my sneakers on, my jeans.
Yeah.
I have a baseball cap
Yeah.
on, and that is just who I am.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I said, the part that you see of me is not all of me.
Right.
I'm nerdy. I'm quirky.
Yeah.
I am unruly.
Intelligent.
I can't tell a joke, but I try.
But you can tell a story.
Yeah.
And I can't dance, but I do it anyway.
Okay. We know plenty of people like that.
Right, and it was funny because I remember thinking, if I can't dance, I shouldn't get up and dance. And I had a friend tell me she wanted to be a dancer, and she couldn't go to school. And I took her to see Alvin Ailey's,
Oh, wow.
and
Yes.
I have never seen someone's face light up so much when
So
she said
beautiful.
phobia. She said that's
So
what I
beautiful.
wanted to do, and so she would take me dancing every Sunday night, and I'm like, girl, I'm not dancing. But one day I saw this guy, and he was just dancing. He was twirling everyone around, and I was like, I can do that. And I couldn't. And so I remember her telling me, she said, can I tell you something? And I said, sure, Sean. She said, dance like nobody's watching. And dance
I like
like
that.
you don't care. She said, and I told her, I said, great. And I would get up there, and ever since then, so I'm trying to learn to dance now. I've been watching TikTok videos. but she was the first person who told me to dance like there's no one there. And I told her years later, I said, you know what I realized? I wasn't dancing to the beat, I was dancing to the words. And so she was like, I figured that out a long time ago. So that's the part of me I want people to know. Like I want to present this, but I also want you to know I'm real. Like I said, I can't dance, but I'm going to dance. I'm going to tell you corny jokes. I'm a nerd. I love drawing. I love writing. Like all the stuff that you don't think I like to do. Believe me, I like to do.
You like to
So I have one more from your Instagram, and I'll put it down. But it says,
Absolutely.
remember, being happy doesn't mean you have to have it all. It simply means you are thankful for all that you have. So what are you thankful for?
So a lot of people don't know this. My parents were my parents. And as I got older, I started finding out, different things. Because, as families, Black families in particular, that's your aunt and you don't even know. That may not even be your aunt. It was just a family member or whatever. I have never been more thankful for having the love of my father. And this man wasn't my dad, but you couldn't tell me, even in this lifetime or the next lifetime, no one could love you that much.
Wow.
And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for being able to wake up. I'm thankful for being able to tell my story. I'm thankful for my son that's quirky, nerdy, and thinks he's funny, and I don't understand anything
Sounds
he
like
ever.
you.
He's on a whole nother level. I never understand what he's talking about, but I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that he embraces who he is, because it took me a long time to do that. I'm thankful for this little girl that made me want to be a girly mother. Because she was so little, and I remember thinking, my God, like being a boy mom is different because you got to be strong, and you got to be this, and some things I couldn't teach him. But this little girl, I was like, my God, I have the opportunity to give her all that's in me.
Wow.
And so those are the moments that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the people that I meet in passing that become my friends. I have a phone number in my phone that I saved, and it's the bag lady, because that's how I met her. She was literally homeless, and she had a phone, and I said, what's your name? She said, the bag lady. And every year she sends me a text message. I have no idea what her name is. I always make sure she's okay. And I'm like, do you need anything? But those are the moments that I'm thankful for, of the people that you don't realize you touched, or you don't realize they remember you. But I get a message from her every year. And I think that's been me for like 16, 17 years now. And it still comes up the bag lady. I'm just impressed you still have the same phone number.
That part.
Okay.
I'm impressed you still got the
Same
same
phone
phone
number.
number.
Yeah, and I refuse to give it up. It was my first cell phone
I
ever.
changed my number so many times.
Oh, man.
But I want to say, this is so insightful in so many ways. The impact that you have told us that you have done, not bragging or nothing, but just it was in you, what God put in you. It was like part of your ministry that you had no idea.
Exactly.
You go to work early. You see her. You say, aha. Next day, go earlier. Aha. You think something wrong. She's not saying it, and you didn't want to ask, but you offered help.
Intuitively. Yeah.
And those things are just so amazing from you. You didn't do it for a show. You didn't do it for an award. You did it because that was in your heart.
Right.
So what I want to know, how do we, like when you're talking about the homeless colleges, for the room and stuff, I had no idea, honestly. So what I want to know is how, for myself as well as other people that's watching, how do we get involved and help those care packages? Because we know they're needed.
So most of big universities have them. Some universities,
I think UT Austin has it. I
Yes.
think I saw some housing.
some universities don't have it. A lot of universities do. Me personally, once you know the universities that do, you can kind of set up a thing and say, hey, can I start sending this? But also do it in your own backyard.
Yeah.
I didn't do it in my own backyard because I had a vested interest in my son because he was away at college. But in Texas, do it in your own backyard. Go to the campuses. A lot of times you can go to like the different the counseling offices and say, hey, I have canned goods. Would you like to have them? Because a lot of the campuses do have, they have what they call pantries and so forth that you can donate food to. Because think about it. Sometimes people donate stuff that they don't want. And that's what concerns me. So a lot of campuses do have these pantries. And for me, I donate clothes because come on, you look good, you feel good, you kind of step a little bit better. And so for me, I go to the different campuses and I'm always going to donate clothes. And I collect them and I give them to the campuses because do you really want to wear grandma's old blazer that doesn't, and I've seen these type of clothes come in even for my veterans, because not everybody has a suit, and I give them a dance or a gala, and they're like, you don't have a suit, can't go. Yes, you can. People donate me nice shirts and suits and they used to come and they'd still be in the dry cleaner bags, and they were really nice. Being in Texas, I even got one of the guys donated some really nice boots, and I was like, if I could fit those. But it's just kind of going out, like I said, going to your own backyard. Even the community colleges, they have it.
They have it on the high school level.
Yes, and on the high school level, you'd be surprised the free lunch programs of how those kids come in there and need uniforms. One of the things I appreciate about Texas is the students being able to wear uniforms because you don't feel less than or other than. So if I can wear a pair of khaki pants and a blue shirt and we all look the same,
you're good.
You're good. Because how much pressure is it? You see somebody, they got designer jeans on, they got their Jordans on, they got a polo shirt, and here you go.
Feeling less
And
than.
so I'm like, we should learn how to donate these things to the different campuses and things because they don't come out and ask for it, but they want it.
But
and
they
need
need
it.
it. That's right.
They won't come out and ask for it. Like UTD needs it. UNT Dallas, they need it. Like you say, DCC College, and I'm not trying to drop any names, but I'm plugs for anybody. But I'm saying, working with those colleges and universities and those community colleges, like I said, it's not in the newspaper that we need, but when you donate it, they're very much appreciative.
Yes. And I would love to partner with you in that since we're both in higher education, so we'll connect. But I think it would be appropriate to perhaps leave on this. One of your posts says, "You are proof that rising after breaking is sacred work." I love that.
Absolutely.
That is so your story behind the scenes, as you were talking about. Yes. It is sacred work. So you want to?
So I did a presentation and I led with this, and that's where I got that from. I asked for the raise of hands. Can a tree grow in cement?
It can.
And some people looked around. There was people that garden. I think no. And I said yes.
Yes.
And they said, why? Because there's always a crack.
Yeah.
And I said, that was
right.
me.
Yeah.
I grew from that crack because someone felt enough for me to kind of water me, to kind of nurture me, and to love me.
That's beautiful.
And to see me.
Yeah.
So that's where I got that
Give
from.
back.
I grew
Yeah.
from
In a tight place.
in a tight place
Yeah.
where no one believed I was going to make it. I grew up in, went to a school. I stuttered like really, really bad. My kids would make fun of me, so I didn't talk. Again, it took that one elementary school teacher, Miss Connie Wright, to tell me it's okay. I sat in the back of the classroom forever, and then she called me to the front, and I couldn't get it out. And again, schools were different. They sent me to a speech pathologist. From second grade to high school, I went to a speech pathologist, and I was like, wow, what if she didn't call on me? I could have been that student without a voice.
Yes.
And I could have easily, as long as I was quiet, because, back then, you're quiet, you do your homework, you can
they
make it
just leave
through.
alone. Yeah.
What if she never called on me?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's
she did.
amazing.
And she did. And now,
You have quite a story.
The funny thing, you said that I too was in the second grade, stuttered.
see,
My speech pathologist, Mr. Bennett, followed me from second grade all the way up to high school. He didn't have to,
No,
because I sat in the back. They called me up. I was like, kids laughed,
exactly.
and that's in one of my books called Reinvented. But it was all due through trauma at the time, which I didn't know until I wrote the book.
See.
That's amazing. It was also, I felt you said that. I was like, wow.
Because
That's how I
as you
looked at
know,
I was
Yeah.
It's your story.
it hinders you. Like you
Yeah.
just don't know, because people are gonna make fun of you.
Yeah.
You don't want anybody to complete your sentence.
Exactly.
And I'm like, don't do that. And I remember my speech. I can't think of her name, but I remember her giving me this book, and she said, "Famous people stutter." I didn't know Sammy Davis Jr. was a stutterer,
Big time.
and a lot of singers stutter, but because of their singing and their voice inflection with the breathing, they don't stutter. But when they talk, and I was like, I'm gonna be a singer.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So
the-
I thought, can't hold a note
And
either. So
and the funny thing about stuttering, when you saying it in your head, you're just as smooth with it,
Yeah.
but it just won't. By the time it get out of here, it's rolling that tongue, is,
rolling, yes.
But in your mind, you're like, oh, this, I can say this, and it's all eyes on you, especially in school. You're just
Exactly.
like, okay, they looking at me,
And
and that nervousness, and
that
everything.
your confidence is done
Shattered.
after that. It's over. And I was like, I'm never gonna talk again.
Again, and we just, I thank you for coming. And
Thank
this
you.
is not gonna be your last time. I promise
I
you
know.
that.
Okay.
So much. This
Because
is just so
you
much.
have some impactful stories. We're gonna get you on here. We're gonna talk about, especially when you start writing the book. We're gonna talk about things that you're doing out in the community.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we give you an open door to definitely come back. Just let us know. 'Cause
Absolutely.
your story is a lifetime movie live. You know what I mean?
You guys make it so easy. So I would
Thank you.
I would love to come back. And like I
Thank
said,
you.
and you're right. And I have many layers, and I would love to peel the layers off with you guys and
Okay.
tell you
We
more.
didn't really even talk about veterans and all of
Yeah,
the work
yeah.
that you do
So
there.
we
right.
got plenty.
Definitely have to come back.
And, so on this note, we're gonna say we pray for your great weekend,
Thank you.
and just gonna have fun, relax.
Yeah.
Yes.
you,
And how do
you-
people,
you
and how
deserve
do
it.
people find you?
I'm on Instagram. I am _ Miss Gray. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. My daughter made sure I was on TikTok.
No, Mom, you gonna get on
On
here.
TikTok.
And you're open for speaking engagements.
I'm open for
and-
speaking engagements.
Okay.
I have no problem just having a conversation with anyone. I love it. I love my young ladies. I love my young men. I don't discriminate.
Yeah. Yeah.
My male and female mentees. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
open.
Well, we're gonna do what we can do as far as the people that we know too, to get you on other speaking engagement, because you need to be on that platform.
Absolutely.
That's real
Thank you.
talk. That's just
Thank you.
from here and listening.
Thank you.
So, again, thank everybody for watching the Marcus Lee Stephenson Show. I'm gonna call her Dr. Gray. I know she's got 2 more semesters, but next time y'all see her, trust me, we gonna officially say Dr. Gray. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's been
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
We love you from being you, and from our heart. So, conversation that matters, and follow the journey. Follow her journey.
Mm-hmm.
And we never know at the end of our journey where it's going to lead us to, but we just love the vision and meeting new people, loving on new people. And this what this whole thing is about. So everyone enjoy. Love you all.
Thank you.